Hey now, Matt LaBarber Music here, and today I am sharing with you 5 things that I wish I knew from the very beginning, okay? I've been playing professionally and teaching for over 20 years. I wish that I had started with these things. No regrets. The path I took was the path I took, and I'm glad for it. But if I had it to do all over again, this is what I would try to do from the very beginning instead of getting distracted by, riffs and tunes. Really focus in on these things, okay? I'm not saying don't play riffs and tunes because that's where the fun is and that's why we get involved in this in the first place. This is just going to expand your fun, okay, by making it easier to learn those riffs and tunes. So each one of these concepts I have done a full-length video on. I'm going to provide you with a playlist in the info section of this video. They're full-length explanations of these concepts that I won't get into here, but I didn't really describe the whens or the whys of these concepts. That's what I'm going to do in this video, okay? So bear with me. I think you'll be grateful for these steps and this explanation. Number 1 would be the notes on the neck. Okay, I wish from the beginning that I learned where all the notes were on my fretboard, because it would have saved me a ridiculous amount of time, and it would have made it easier for me to communicate with my fellow musicians, right? First, everything was tabs, and it was like 5, 5, 5, 5, 3, 3, right? And if someone tried to explain a song to me and they couldn't, write it down, or I couldn't write it down for myself, like I didn't know what to do, right? But now someone could tell me, okay, well, you just go A, G, E, right? And I can play along. So. And, again, people call out the names of the notes and all, I can follow them because we speak the same language. So very important thing to do, kind of boring, but really worth your time. And again, I didn't know it until far too long into my bass journey. So I'm starting with that. I make sure all my students learn it whether they want to or not. So number 2 would be scales, okay? And using those scales to learn riffs by ear, essentially. That's great ear training and the foundation of everything you're going to do. Every song that you're going to learn, riff, melody, everything is based off of scales, okay? They're also a great warm-up exercise to get used to using, all of your fingers on the strings. And I can't tell you enough how important that is, the foundation of everything. But of course I resisted it for as long as I could because it was boring and it sounded lame. But especially major scales, minor scales, and using those scales to learn riffs, it's like, again, when I finally gave in and learned how to do it, it was like it changed the game for me completely, okay? So then number 3 would be what the knobs do on my bass guitar, okay? Not just this one, but the other ones that I have, and also on your amp, right? Trying to figure out how to get the best tone or the best sound out of your instrument, okay? Tone is everything, right? At first I just set up and, I just basically, bought the thing, plugged it in, never changed anything. Same thing with my amp, was just afraid to touch it, and sometimes I'd be unsatisfied with the things I was playing, and it was really just because it didn't sound good, but I didn't know that, and I didn't know what just a little turn of a knob could do. We're all playing the same notes, but it's the sound of your instrument and how you express yourself through that sound that's going to, make you stand out or make the song so much more fun to play. So highly encourage spending some time with number 3. Number 4 is probably the most important, but everyone's least favorite, which is practicing to a metronome. Okay, metronomes, you can find just on YouTube. You can, type in metronome at blank speed, or, they have them for free in the apps. Or you can get the old school tick, 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 analog ones. I hated them. All my students hate them. But really it is the best tool, the most useful tool in your musical toolbox. Because if you have good timing, you're going to get the gig over someone who's got, crazy chops. Or, if you're playing with other people and your timing is good, that'll make the band so much better. Okay? Speeding up, slowing down, makes you hard to play with. Makes it so you can't keep up when you're trying to play along with songs. You're just like at different parts than the band. The other thing about the metronome is it makes any riff playable, right? Even the craziest, hardest riff, if you slow it down enough and okay, this is where my end goal is and this is where I can do it, you just bridge the gap a little bit at a time with your metronome and you can play any riff, any tune. And I know you're thinking, Matt, what about this song? Yes, that song. Yeah, but what about this crazy? Yes, that one. Any song, if it's slowed down enough, it's doable. Okay, if you have the patience and the metronome, patience plus metronome equals glory. Okay. The last thing would be reading and writing chord charts. Okay. First, tabs are amazing. Knowing the names of the notes and just reading, E, 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 A, that's great. But chord charts are like a map, okay? Road map. You can take, a 5-6 page song and condense it down into a Post-it note, right? If you can follow the little symbols on it, on the chord charts, you can make a map of the song and just follow the song. I could play songs that I've never heard before in my life, as long as I have the right, a well-written chart and someone counts me off, I know the tempo, I can play any tune just by following those chord charts. It might not be 100% if there's like a specific riff that you're supposed to play. But if you're just playing, some notes over the chords, chord chart is the way to go. So again, take your time with these concepts. You can't blow through all 5 of them in a day and be like, I'm good. Like these take time to master. So I would recommend picking one, trying to see that task through all the way to its end. And, if you get bored, maybe jump into another one, right? But like I said, check out this playlist that I have in the info section. There's going to be expanded versions of all of these things. And also, please, if you like this video, leave me some positive feedback in the comments. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like it, share it with your friends. I promise you, I will not waste your time. All of these things are really important. And again, my students, I show them all of these things. A lot of people fight me on them, but then I've never had anyone say that they wish they hadn't learned it. Everyone's always really grateful for these particular lessons. Whenever the time is that they come around to it, they're like, man, okay, now I see why you had me do that, because it is so helpful. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. Check out the expanded version of all of these concepts, and happy bassin'. I will see you in the future.